Howdy y'all and welcome. Hope everybody's doing well out there so far. And as you can see here, the Climate Prediction Center has issued their outlook regarding the spring outlook. Now I did issue my own spring outlook. If you haven't checked that out already, please go and check it out. But we'll break this down here in a little bit, as looking like spring is coming in like a lion, but will it leave like a lamb? Now you can see here, a drought is forecasted to expand in parts of the western part of the country and parts of the plains, but this don't mean that the whole entire country will come in on a significant drought. So before we get into this, we do got some significant severe weather to talk about here on Thursday, as a slight risk has been issued. Now the main risks are going to be really all hazards. We can see the tornado threat is a 5% chance spanning from Illinois all the way up there into Ohio. Don't let your guard down even if you're under the low end threat for tornadoes, as significant tornadoes can still happen on low end days. High wind threat, well, another 15% chance as shown down here. And as far as hail goes, another significant threat. So it's looked like mainly hail and tornadoes is going to be the primary threats, with winds being a sort of secondary threat, but please don't be caught off guard, as really high winds can be just as dangerous as tornadoes. And like I said earlier, even if you're under the low end threat for tornadoes, significant tornadoes can still happen within the low end zones. And even hail too. Hail can be just as dangerous as well. So basically, watch out if you're under the marginal and slight risk zones. And let's go ahead and break down the timing for this, and I'll show you the parameters as well. So just take a look at the timing all the way out through Thursday evening and potentially into Friday morning. We're going to take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. And if you want to keep track of the time, it's always right here if you want to keep track. But so you can see today, looks like we're going to be coming in on some pop-up showers tonight. Really nothing to be worried about really, other than just some heavy downpours and localized flooding potentially. But watch as we head into tomorrow. Looks like we're going to have some potential clearing out there. Could destabilize the atmosphere. And here comes that line of showers and storms. Now some of these could be supercellular in nature, so that's why they issued the tornado threat that they did issue. So there could be some significant tornadoes at right around roughly 9 o'clock Eastern time. Gonna be persisting all the way through right around 11 o'clock into midnight, before it finally weakens down as we head into the early morning hours of Friday and finally gets out of our hair. Now, what about the parameters? Well, we take a look at the significant tornado parameters. This pretty much shows us whether or not the ingredients are going to be there for tornadic activity. Don't mean that a tornado is going to happen within that whole zone. Just means that it's pretty favorable for tornadic activity. So we push this forward, we can see really not much happening, at least until we head into the late afternoon into evening time frame. We can see roughly a 6 to 7 on the tornado scale here in north central into northern Indiana. And this is roughly at right around the time when I would expect some significant severe weather to occur at. We can see some storms heading into northern Indiana, and let's actually zoom in here. We can see here in northern Indiana going to be coming in on some supercells at right around 9 o'clock. So I would say roughly from, let's say, 8 p.m. to midnight is the rough estimate of when I would expect the most significant severe weather to occur out here from, let's say, Illinois, Indiana, potentially Michigan, and into Ohio. Now, Missouri could be a little later in the evening and into the early morning hours of Friday, but regardless, 8 o'clock to midnight is a rough estimate of when I would expect the worst of the severe weather to occur at. Now, as far as the winds go, that is another primary threat. We'll take a look at the wind gusts here. And we can see it's going to be pretty blustery out there tomorrow. Roughly 30 mile an hour wind gusts possible in some areas. But watch as that line of showers and storms start rolling through. We could be expecting upwards of, let's say, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Some areas getting in on 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. So definitely going to be resulting in some power outages tomorrow. So be aware of that. Make sure you get a jackery or have any sort of way to get power or anything, because it looks like the power is definitely going to be going out tomorrow with any storms that roll through potentially. So basically tomorrow, it's looking like going to be coming in on some pop-up showers tonight, but tomorrow it's looking like from roughly 8 o'clock through midnight is when I would expect there to be some significant severe weather, including tornadoes. Now, tornado threat, I would expect the greatest chance of seeing a tornado mainly up here in north central Indiana. I would say up there maybe by Kokomo area. Fort Wayne, Muncie could be seeing some tornadoes and some significant hail with it as well. Take a look back at the tornado parameters again one last time here. Show y'all. Close to an 8 up here in north central Indiana at roughly 9 o'clock in the evening before it starts tapering down at roughly midnight. So 9 o'clock to midnight, rough estimate of when I would expect a tornado to occur here in Indiana, and cannot leave out Illinois as well. Illinois could also see some tornadoes at that time, as well as y'all are actually the leaders this year as far as that tornado count goes, and this could pick up again here in Indiana and Illinois. And here are some ways you can prepare for the severe weather coming up tomorrow. The day before, make sure you adjust plans, make sure your phone can receive alerts, and ensure your shelter is clean and accessible. And of course, the day of, which is tomorrow, most of y'all are going to be watching this the day of, make sure you remain vigilant and aware of any active watches and warnings that may be issued at a moment's notice, which they'll issue tornado watch tomorrow most likely. And remind your family of the communication plan. Make sure you know how to evacuate and or get to safety from wherever you are. And when a warning is issued, you may only have seconds to take action. And if that tornado warning is issued, make sure you seek shelter in a sturdy building, basement, closet, and room away from windows. Pretty much the only areas that I would suggest you take shelter at. Do not take shelter in a Walmart. I know I have said that before. Please don't do that. It's actually not a good idea, surprisingly. And trailers are obviously not a good idea as well. And overpasses, definitely not a good idea as well. So basically just stay safe, stay on alert. You'll be just fine as long as you know all that stuff. You have nothing to worry about. Basically 9 o'clock through midnight, when I would expect the worst of the severe weather to occur. And as Ryan Hall always says, don't be scared, be prepared. Now on to the day 3 outlook. Looks like not much severe is going to be going on after Thursday, especially as we move into the next 4 to 8 days. So it's looking like the weather is going to start to calm down a little bit. And on to the weather for the next couple of weeks. We take a look at the National Weather Service alert map to guide us here. We can see that record-breaking temperatures and critical fire weather will be occurring. More than 200 record or near-record maximum temperatures are forecasted across the southern half of the U.S. through the end of this week, before additional record temperatures center back over the southwest into the Rockies this weekend. Widespread record-breaking warmth, low humidity, and gusty winds will provide critical fire weather today in the Central Rockies and Plains. So basically it looks like today mainly fire weather is going to be occurring, so I guess be aware of that and be aware of severe weather on Thursday. And speaking of that fire weather and warm temperatures out there, let's go ahead and take a look at the spring outlook, as drought conditions are going to be forecasted out there for the west and parts of the plains this spring. And we can see that drought conditions are forecasted to worsen or develop for many areas in the west and south Central Plains, according to the spring outlook released by the Climate Prediction Center on March 20th. For April through June, forecasters from the National Weather Service also predict above normal temperatures for majority of the country, as I did predict that in my outlook as well. Factors influencing the spring outlook include INSO, low snowpack in the west, and soil moisture content throughout the lower 48. According to Ken Graham, which is the director of the National Weather Service, this spring will also feature a transition from La Nina to INSO neutral conditions, which I will be breaking this down in my April outlook as well, coming up here at least sometime between Friday and before April 1st, of course. So I'll let y'all know on X, Facebook, and here on YouTube community post. But so basically, it's looking like neither El Nino or La Nina will be present for this spring. And that could mean dry conditions out west, but that don't mean that it's going to be dry for everybody, because it's looking like this spring could be pretty wet here in the central and eastern part of the country. So what does this mean for severe weather? Well, of course, tomorrow we're coming in on that big severe weather day, but I think we're going to start to wind down here in severe weather season actually here as we head into April, but of course I'll break that down in my April outlook. So what about the next couple of weeks? Well, as I said earlier, we got severe weather tomorrow, but after that, really not much is expected. So let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS and zoom out here and take a look at the simulated radar. We can see, of course, pretty dry for much of the country. Got some fire conditions here in the central and northern plains. And of course, we're going to have some snow showers in the northwest and very far northern plains. And we're going to have some severe weather tomorrow, of course, like I said earlier. But after that, it's going to start to wind down. Looks like it's going to dry out yet again until we head into early next week. So we usher in the first day of April. We could be dealing with some heavy snow there in the northwest, up here by Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and parts of Utah and Colorado. Could be coming in on a site for sore eyes out there. Of course, there is some ski resorts out there, so get out there and enjoy those if you have any out there near you. Could be dealing with some icing up here, up by Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, Delaware area, as well as some snow up here by Maine. So unfortunately, April 1st is going to be bringing some snow showers for much of us. It's kind of like an April Fool's joke that Mother Nature's given us, but don't worry though. Looks like we're going to be back into some heavy rainfall again, but it's not snowfall, so that's some good news, I guess. But we can see April 3rd could be coming in on some more significant weather. Could be doing some potential severe weather, actually, here in Missouri and parts of Texas, but really could be dealing with a flash flooding situation here as we head into the beginning of April before we start coming back into another quiet weather pattern as we inch closer to the middle of April. Of course, the further we head out, the more uncertainty there is. So basically, I think after we head past Thursday, I think we're going to come into a quiet weather pattern, although we could come in on some significant snowfall in the Mountain West, icing potential here in the Northeast. But other than that, it's looking like very quiet weather pattern as we head into April, although we could come in on some more flooding and severe weather. So we head into the April 3rd to possibly the 5th time frame is when I would expect that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll keep y'all posted, of course. Oh, and I did forget to mention this. As far as severe weather tomorrow goes, I will be keeping y'all posted on that, of course, on X and Facebook, like I said earlier. And I'll also do a case study the day after, so stay tuned for that as well. And as far as risk of heavy precipitation goes, we can see the 1st through 7th, like I said earlier, this is the time frame we could come in on some significant rainfall, and this is when we could come in on an uptick in some severe weather as well. And we can see this clearly here by the Climate Prediction Center as they did issue a slight risk for heavy precipitation here for really much of the eastern part of the country. As far as snow goes, the only area at risk is here in the California mountains. Slight risk from the 1st to the 2nd. April Fool's Day. It's like Mother Nature's giving us an April Fool's joke that we don't want. Wind is going to be the primary threat for the next couple of weeks. We are in windy season, by the way, as well, unfortunately. As shown here, 2nd to the 3rd, high winds is the main threat, unfortunately. And as we take a look at the precipitation outlook for the next couple of weeks, we're heading into a very soggy pattern for much of us unless you live here in the southeast part of the country. Next 8 to 14 days, most of the country is heading into an above average pattern. Southeast is coming in on a near normal pattern, as well as down here by Florida, as you are still dealing with those drought conditions. Take a look at the drought map here. You can see not as bad as it once was, but still much of the country is dealing with some sort of drought conditions down there. Take a look at much of the country here. We can see really much of the country is coming in on some sort of drought conditions. So looks like we are going to be coming in on a soggy pattern for the next couple of weeks, at least according to the Climate Prediction Center. Head back to the weather models here and take a look at the national blend of models and take a look at the precipitation totals for the next couple of weeks. We can see who will get in on the jackpot of rain, which is going to be the eastern part of the country. Second most is going to be out in the west coast. Zoom in here to show y'all. Roughly close to 2 to 4 inches here in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region. And coming in on some rainfall here down by Florida, which y'all do need it down there. As far as the western part of the country goes, some of this could be snowfall as well, so keep that in mind. But the west coast coming in on about the same as the eastern part of the country is coming in on, roughly 2 to 4 inches out there. Now, what about the snow totals? Well, we are winding down winter as we are into springtime, but we can still come in on frost and snow this time of year, unfortunately. I know it has snowed out here in Indiana, at least up into the Indy 500s, so don't let your guard down just yet and be aware of planting, but we can see out in the northern plains and Rockies and parts of the Northeast coming in on some snowfall. We'll still take a look at the icing as well, as there could be some icing potential here in New Hampshire and parts of Vermont as well. So we can see close to roughly 3 to 6 to close to a foot of snow up there by Maine, but really much of the eastern part of the country's going to be in the clear as far as snow goes, unless you live up here by Wisconsin and parts of eastern North Dakota and South Dakota. Look out west, we can see a lot more snowfall out there in the California mountains, all the way up here into Washington. as well as up here in the northern plains and the Montana and Idaho and mountains. So excited for sore eyes out there, but don't worry, summertime is right around the corner, and if you have some ski resorts out there, then of course please get out there and enjoy those. I know you are known for those out there, so really gotta look on the bright side when it comes to that anyways. Now as far as icing goes out east, there is going to be some icing up there in the northeast, so we can see here close to not very much, but still enough to slick up anything out there and everything. Close to 0.06 out there to 0.08, so not much, but still ice is ice. You don't want to deal with ice, so be aware of that as well. So what about the temperatures? Well, go back to the GFS here and show y'all, as it has been unfortunately chilly here as of late. Winter made its return once more for its final duel, unfortunately, but don't worry though, it's looking like it's gonna be pretty nice out there. Could be dealing with upper 80s into 90s down here in Texas, all the way up here into Nebraska, so gonna be pretty nice here today. And of course tomorrow is gonna be another nice day, and this is why we're gonna be dealing with some severe weather here in parts of the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region. It's because we got that cold air coming down from the north and warm air coming up from the south, and of course whammo, y'all know what happens from there. And again, as a reminder, 9 o'clock to midnight is when the severe weather is going to be occurring on Thursday, by the way, as well. We can see that severe weather is going to be knocking that warm air on out. And unfortunately, on Friday and into the weekend, we're going to be back in those cold temperatures once more. So it's going to be another frigid weekend, unfortunately. But don't worry, though, we are into springtime. And usually we come in on a roller coaster ride of temperatures, which means that it's I don't know what to wear kind of season. But usually we just start leveling out once we head into April, and we can see as we head into April, we're going to be back in those nice temperatures again, while the western part of the country is going to be cold once more. Typical springtime flip, and it's looking like those warm temperatures are going to be knocked out again, but again, we're going to be back on those warm temperatures as we head into the middle of April. So basically, rewind this, basically, we're going to be warm leading up into Thursday, but of course that severe is going to knock those warm temperatures out. It's going to be cold for a few days, but then that warm air is going to be coming back. We're in a little bit of a pattern flip, as the western part of the country is going to be cold while the eastern part of the country is going to be warm. And then as we inch closer to the middle of April, we're going to be sliding back into those nice warm temperatures. So basically it's going to be a volatile ride of temperatures as we head into April. So unfortunately it's the I don't know what to wear kind of season. And as we take a look at the risk of hazardous temperatures, there is none, so that's some good news. Could be chilly here heading to the end of the month, but don't worry though. As we can see here, much of the country is going to be heading into well above average territory as far as temperatures go, as well as near normal here out west and in the northeast. The only spot that's going to be below normal is Maine, and y'all are going to be coming in on some snow here to start off April, unfortunately. Next 8 to 14 days, really much the same story. Still going to be below average here up by Maine, though. And a couple things before I let y'all go. If y'all have been following me on X and Facebook, typically post what we could expect every day as far as astronomical events go and weather history as well. It's pretty interesting. I know it's made by AI, but it's pretty good. Go check it out if you haven't already. But we can see tonight's aurora forecast. It's going to be pretty good up here by Canada. A little less tomorrow, of course. And of course, with it being spring, we got the bird migration. The birds are coming up. See tonight, 27 million birds are projected to move north. Tomorrow night, of course, 61 million birds. Hopefully they're not moving north up here in Indiana, as they're going to be encountering some severe weather. And of course, Friday night, roughly 27 million birds. And we take a look at the bird migration map from last night. Not much is expected to move through. I don't really know how they get their numbers, but we can see close to 100 million birds moving through last night. And this number is only going to pick up as we head into April, and especially as we head into May. Because as we can see here, the peak migration dates from April 24th all the way into May 15th. So we're still a little bit early, but it's always nice to check the bird migration map to see how many are moving through. So I hope each and every one of y'all enjoyed today's weather forecast. If you did, please make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. Also, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as any feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already, because I hear Wednesday weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and in front of it. I also have a Rumble channel if you want to go check that out. It's pretty much the same content, but if you want to go check it out, it's WX98. I would greatly appreciate it if you head on over there as well. So basically, once we move past Thursday, we're going to be coming into a quiet weather pattern, although we could be dealing with a volatile temperature pattern as we head closer into April, where one week we're going to be warm, next week we're going to be cold, vice versa, before we start stabilizing out as we head into the end of April. And speaking of April, I will have my April outlook up probably, I would say, between Friday and before the first day of April. Now it's a wide time horizon, but between there, I'm going to try to have it out Friday at the earliest, so stay tuned for that. And speaking of the severe weather on Thursday, make sure have a way to receive alerts, regardless if it's a phone or weather radio or any sort of way to get alerted. Make sure you get alerted and make sure you know where to go when that tornado warning is issued. I'm sure tornado watch will get issued tomorrow, so make sure you seek shelter in the basement, closet, interior, and away from windows. You'll be just fine. As Ryan Hall always says, don't be scared, be prepared, you'll be just fine. Basically from 9 o'clock to midnight is when I would expect the worst of the severe weather to occur. So again, don't be scared, be prepared. And speaking of the weather, could be a quiet ride for the next couple of weeks after we get past the severe weather threat on Thursday, although we could come in on significant snowfall out in the west coast and northeast, where the northeast is going to be potentially dealing with some icing as we head into April Fool's, kind of like an April Fool's joke that's not even funny. But once we head into the middle of April, we could come into another potential active weather pattern where we're dealing with some more flooding and severe weather again. So spring's here, y'all. It's coming in like a lion, but may leave like a lamb. We just have to find out, and I'll be keeping y'all posted, of course, as I always do here on YouTube and Rumble and on X and even on Facebook. So again, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all for watching, and until next time, never stop forecasting.
Fuck time change!
That was close! Time to chase those storms! Let's go!
Oh, damn, this is getting serious. I need to go. Major tornado outbreak potential today. Ah, fuck, it's Duck Donald's. I am starving, though. Maybe Hooters will be a treat tonight if I catch a twister. I hate this fucking Duck Donald's, so the food better be fucking fresh!
This order better fucking be correct.
Those stupid bastards! They shorted me a duck nugget! You stupid bastards shorted me a duck nugget! I want a full refund!
What are you laughing at?
I'm taking my business elsewhere!
I pissed in his drink for being such an asshole.
No
He totally deserved it.
This storm is gonna shit the bed, damn it!
And this burger is cold.
This drink tastes like piss!
I pissed in his drink for being an asshole.
Yes! A tornado warning! Now where's my laptop? I need it! Aha! There it is! Finally, let's get rolling! Woo! Whoa, holy shit! I gotta get out of here! It's heading towards me! What the hell, you idiot? What the duck is this dumbass doing? You stupid son of a bitch! Learn how to drive, you stupid son of a bitch!
Finally, a nice hot meal with some beautiful women. I earned this tonight. This is way better than Duck Donald's. These wings are hot and the beer's cold. You're cute. What's your number?
Yes, of course. It's 8675309.
Sucky, I love you long time! Get his horny ass out of here!
Well, mister, maybe you should have asked me on a date before smacking my butt. Now you're in horny jail. Happy April Fool's, Buster.
Please, let me out.
You've been in there long enough. I saw your Twister footage on the news.